It's Thursday, December 11th. In the headlines, utility companies to waive customer and service charges for some customers. The Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, confirms 45 deaths, 12 related to leptospirosis in the worst hurricane-hit parishes. In business news, government to make hurricane recovery contracts public. Regionally, Trinidad and Tobago backs stronger regional migration rules to protect Caribbean development. And in sports, St. Elizabeth Technical and Dintil Technical score wins in the Costa action. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The Jamaica Public Service Company Limited and the National Water Commission will waive customer and service charges for households that have been without utilities since Hurricane Melissa made landfall on October 28. The move follows ongoing discussions between the Office of Utilities Regulation and the two utility providers. In a statement to media this Thursday morning, the OUR explained that shortly after the hurricane, it wrote to both agencies seeking clarification on how customers in severely affected communities, many without service for an entire billing cycle, would be treated, particularly regarding the fixed monthly charges. In its November 18 response, the National Water Commission, NWC, advised that it would suspend billing in the most severely impacted areas starting December 2025. As a result, no service charge will be applied. The December bill would normally reflect November's usage. The NWC says the suspension will remain in effect, quote, as long as the conditions that limit service delivery persist, end quote. Jamaica Public Service, in a December 3 correspondence to the OUR, stated that customers who remain without electricity for a full billing period or longer will not be required to pay the customer charge. Affected customers will still receive a bill showing zero consumption, along with any outstanding arrears. Nearly 6 weeks after Hurricane Melissa devastated sections of the island, more than 1,000 Jamaicans are still living in emergency shelters. The Category 5 hurricane, which made landfall on Jamaica's western end on October 28, severely damaged the country's housing stock, tearing off roofs, flattening homes, and triggering widespread flooding that forced residents to flee. Since then, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, now operating under the Office of the Prime Minister, has been tracking recovery data closely. ODPEM's Director General, Commander Alvin Gale, gave an update at this week's post-cabinet press brief.
Work continues between the MDAs and partners to identify suitable sites for prefabricated housing and other medium-term options, especially in communities where schools are still being used as shelters.
With several schools still being used as shelters, the Ministry of Education is pushing for a swift transition to allow classes to resume. Commander Gale says ODPEM is working with the Ministry of Local Government to assess immediate needs and relocate remaining shelter occupants. Commander Gale says the Jamaica Defense Force is working with regional and international partners in the restoration and relief effort.
As mentioned before, the Guyanese Defense Force has deployed to Jamaica to fulfill the promise made by their president to repair some 200 roofs in the parish of Westmoreland. The team commenced work yesterday and is living and working alongside their Jamaica Defense Force counterparts. In partnership with the ODPEM, the JDF also continues to coordinate with regional and international military partners, including Barbados, Bermuda, Rwanda, Ghana, and Ethiopia.
Meanwhile, Commander Gale notes that there have been 45 deaths, as well as 84 suspected and 30 confirmed cases of leptospirosis since the hurricane hit.
With 13 persons still missing and an additional 32 deaths under investigation.
As schools in the hardest hit communities continue to grapple with damaged buildings and limited access to electricity and internet, the Ministry of Education is outlining several measures to ensure learning doesn't come to a halt for displaced students. From host school placements to printed learning kits and temporary classroom tents, officials say multiple pathways are now in place to help students reconnect with their studies while recovery efforts continue. Danita Rodney tells us more.
With classrooms damaged and communities still rebuilding, the Ministry of Education says no student should be left behind. Speaking before the Public Administration and Accounts Committee on Wednesday, Chief Education Officer Terrian Thomas Gale outlined a range of pathways to keep learning going, from host schools to virtual and printed resources.
So students who have been displaced, if they so desire, they can participate in the host school opportunity. We have over 1,000 spaces. So schools have identified the number of students they can take in. So that's one option.
The ministry official says displaced students who can't return to classrooms still have full access to remote learning, including its offline classroom in a box virtual school.
There is also the option where they can participate in the remote. We have a virtual school, and although it's virtual, the work can be, it's a classroom in a box, so it can be done offline. So that's available, that's out there. We have access to a list of teaching and learning activities using the television PBCJ. As well as we have our learning kits. There are learning kits that have been distributed, and we will continue to distribute these. The learning kits will be distributed monthly.
It was reported that rotation schedules remain in place for damaged schools or those hosting displaced students, while normal operations should continue elsewhere.
Should not, because if there is no damage, they should be operating the regular basis.
So therefore, the rotation and shift is for damaged schools.
And I said not necessarily, because if they are hosting students and there's an increase in their capacity, then the board and the principal will make the necessary adjustment.
Parents of displaced students are being encouraged to contact their regional office to be placed in the most suitable learning arrangement. For the news on PBCJ, I am Danita Rodney.
In a news follow-up, the St. Thomas leg of the multi-million-dollar Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project is almost complete. Communication manager at the National Works Agency, Stephen Shaw, says outstanding work is being done in Prospect and Pleasant Hill.
We are doing quite a bit of work at Bowden, and this bit of work has been delayed because we had to await permission from the environmental agency, NEPA, given that this area is a wetland, and we could not go into that particular space without specific instructions from the NEPA.
He says the road has been widened.
We have put in infrastructure, facilitate the JPSCO relocating its lines. We have quite a bit of that to do. So persons will observe that there are still poles that are to be relocated. We nonetheless are continuing with the building out of the embankment around some of these poles.
He adds that paving is being done in Morant Bay. Our news team caught up with Mr. Shaw while he was on a tour of the highway. The Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project in Jamaica is a major infrastructure upgrade, transforming the southern corridor from St. Andrew through St. Thomas to Portland. Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, here to bring you the stories shaping the financial world and guiding your journey to smarter business decisions. Let's dive into the top headlines. The government of Jamaica has introduced a new rule requiring all emergency government contracts to be made public on its online procurement platform, which is the Government of Jamaica Electronic Procurement System, GoJEP. Under the new rule, ministries and agencies must publish emergency contract award notices within 1 month of issuing a contract. The notices must include the name of the contractor, the contract value, the reason for the emergency award, and the goods or services being procured. The Ministry of Finance says while emergency require swift decisions, the public still has a right to know how the funds are being spent. Cygnus Real Estate Finance Limited officially broke ground on its 55-acre logistics and industrial development, Lake Spen Industrial Park in St. Catherine, on Tuesday, December 9. The Lake Spen Industrial Park spans 55.4 acres with 46.4 acres available for sale across 34 serviced lots ranging from 1 to 3 acres each. The development targets significant market demand with an appetite for over 1 million square feet of logistics and warehouse space. As part of the project, the developers will install an underground electrical distribution system to improve reliability and aesthetics, along with a 70,000-gallon reserve water tank to support business continuity for buyers. For the trading period ending December 10, 2025, these were the most actively traded stocks. Trans-Jamaican Highway with 2,547,072 units, representing 33.15% of market sales volume. JMMB Group Limited 9.5% shares with 1,641,077 units, representing 21.36% of market sales volume. Epley Caribbean Property Fund Limited SCC with 704,700 units, representing 9.17% of market sales volume. We now shift our focus to the Forex market rate set by the Bank of Jamaica. On December 11, 2025, the Bank of Jamaica reported US $54.92 million purchased and US $60.21 million sold by Forex traders. Forex traders earned $1.90 per dollar, selling the US at $161.12 and buying the US at $159.22. The Canadian dollar netted Forex traders $1 in profit per transaction, with selling at $115.97 and buying at $114.97. The British pound yielded Forex traders $2.53 in profits, with selling at $212.34 and buying at $214.87. For our credit report tip of the day, the end of the year has a way of stirring up every emotion at once. Joy, pressure, nostalgia, and the quiet hope that next year will feel different. In the middle of the shopping, family gatherings, and last-minute plans, it's easy to put your own financial stability on the back burner. But this season can also be the moment you decide you're done carrying the same credit stress into another year. With a few bold, practical steps woven into your holiday routine, you can protect your peace, strengthen your credit, and give yourself a powerful, fresh start long before January arrives. In our funded and focused feature, a strong incubator or accelerator program delivers return on investment you can see and check off as you go. So instead of moving through guesswork, founders jump into action and start stacking wins. Business officially set up. Finances organized and bank ready. Clear records for grants, loans, and investors. Funding opportunities identified and matched to your goals. And a pitch that's polished and ready to send. And a visibility and growth plan you can actually follow. It's progress you can track, momentum you can feel, and a business that finally moves from thinking about it to building with purpose. Each step completed becomes part of the real return. More clarity, more confidence, and more opportunities for long-term success. And that wraps up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, reminding you that every financial decision is a step toward your future. Until next time, stay focused, stay informed, and keep striving for success. See you soon.
In regional news, Minister of Planning, Economic Affairs and Development, Dr. Kennedy Schwarzing, says Trinidad and Tobago is throwing its full support behind stronger regional migration rules and support systems, arguing they are essential to safeguarding Caribbean development. Speaking at the 2025 annual UN coordination meeting on the region's Sustainable Development Framework, he warned that Caribbean is at a critical turning point and must act now to ensure its people are not left behind. The details in this TTT News report.
The Caribbean region is at a critical inflection point and must take initiatives to ensure its people are not left behind. Minister of Planning, Economic Affairs and Development, Kennedy Schwarzing, made the point during his opening remarks at the 2025 annual coordination meeting of the United Nations Multi-Country Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework for 2022 to 2026.
Population changes, including aging and the continued migration of skilled workers, are reshaping our social system and labor markets. At the same time, technological change is advancing faster than many of our institutions can adapt. While digital transformation offers enormous opportunities for growth, service delivery, and inclusion, gaps in access and skills threaten to widen inequality if we do not act decisively.
Minister Schwarzing also outlined Trinidad and Tobago's areas of primary focus as government works towards implementing the UN's Sustainable Development Goals.
Trinidad and Tobago supports the strengthening of regional migration governance and inclusive protection frameworks, ensuring that mobility contributes to development rather than deepening vulnerability. For Trinidad and Tobago, advancing our energy transition, improving water security, strengthening early warning systems, and pursuing nature-based solutions as central national priorities, and we value the partnership of the UN system as we work to scale these efforts.
Meanwhile, UN Resident Coordinator for Trinidad and Tobago, Joanna Kazana, highlighted how the UN would be contributing to the meeting.
We are going to present to you not only the report that I mentioned, but we are also going to share with you the key takeaways from the evaluation exercise that's looking at the midpoint results achieved by the current cooperation framework and looking into the recommendations for the future. We are also going to look at the multi-country assessment of the development trends, and we are going to look in a different way at the mega trends that the Caribbean region is going to face in the next couple of years.
The three-day meeting will not only look back at the achievements of the last 4 years, but seek to set the Sustainable Development Goals for the future. Terry Ann Brown-Campbell, TTT News.
Belizeans are feeling the squeeze as the cost of food, fuel, housing, and basic necessities continues to climb. And now, the debate over the true cost of living is heating up. The opposition says families are struggling more than ever while the government insists its investments are easing the burden. But from the supermarket to the gas station pump, many say their dollars simply aren't stretching far enough. News 5's Paul Lopez takes a closer look.
From the price of vegetables and fruits to the cost of gasoline, Belizeans are feeling the pinch. The United Democratic Party argues that the cost of living is spiraling out of control, making it harder for families to make ends meet.
The high cost of living, whether it's groceries, fuel, utilities, school supplies, or even rent. Families are stretching their dollar further than it can go. People are working hard, yet their paycheck don't carry them as far as they used to. That's not an economic issue. That's a quality of life issue.
Prime Minister John Brisenia says recent government investments have left Belizeans better off than in prior years.
We will raise the minimum wage. We're giving more scholarships. 15,000 kids are in the feeding program. We have free education in tens of thousands of kids are in complete free education in high school across this country. NHI right now we expanded the entire country, and it's going to be fully rolled out early next year in Cayo. We can't control what you pay as much as we wish because the goods they come in. We can't do much because that's the price you import.
According to the Statistical Institute of Belize, inflation has slowed compared to last year, but food, housing, water, electricity, and gas prices remain among the highest contributors to the cost of living.
This was mainly due to price increasing for non-alcoholic beverages such as purified water, soft drinks, and fruit and vegetable juices, along with food items such as cereal products, meats, and fruits and nuts. Let's look at the housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels category, with prices increasing by 2.4%. This was mainly due to price increase for rent, which went up by 2.3%.
And while the government of Belize points to success in agriculture, construction, and tourism as proof of progress, for Belizean, the math is done at the counter and again at the pump.
As much as I'd love to bring down the price of fuel, then okay, if I bring down the cost from the taxes, tell me where we're going to get the money to be able to do all of these things that we're doing. If you could answer that, I'd be happy to do it immediately.
The comparison, PM,
wait, answer me the question. If you could find me where, because along with GST and the importation, the taxes we charge on fuel is one of the it's one of their biggest revenue earners. So if we we reduce it by half, and that means that we're getting off $50-60 million off from the tax revenues. If you could find me the next 60 million, I'd be happy to do it today.
And it's not only the cost of food items and fuel. The cost of food and beverages at restaurants have also increased over the past year.
Let's look at the restaurants and accommodation services, with prices increasing by 2.3%. This increase was mainly due to the result of higher food and beverage serving services, which went up by 2.6%.
With the cost of food, housing, and utility continuously rising, the debate over the true state of the cost of living in Belize is anything but over. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Today we take a close look at how St. Lucia's constituency map could change. The Constituency Boundaries Commission is once again reviewing electoral boundaries, an exercise required every 5 years to ensure each constituency reflects current population trends and remains fairly represented.
The Constituency Boundaries Commission is mandated to evaluate constituency boundaries every 5 years to align with current population trends. Its goal is to maintain a balance in population figures while considering factors like rural representation, communication, geography, and administrative boundaries. In 2015, the Commission had proposed significant changes. The Groseley constituency was recommended to be split into 3 new constituencies: Groseley North, Groseley Central, and Groseley South. New constituencies were proposed by joining parts of Babonneau, Castries North and Castries East, and another from Castries Southeast and Castries South, specifically to reduce the size of Castries Southeast. However, the implementation process was stalled by court battles and other extenuating circumstances. Urban Dolor, a current member of the Boundaries Commission, recently clarified the intricate process of adding more constituencies during an appearance on HTS Radio 100's program What Makes Me Mad with host Stanley Lucien.
We didn't want a part of a constituency that was voting was decide to now suddenly go this side. You needed to keep the numbers about the same. You needed to keep ratios about the same. And a very important thing was that you wanted to do the additions and divisions, as it was. This is the case of addition, adding seats and dividing constituencies. You didn't want to divide do the addition and division in such a way that you threw out, you would have made a big difference to the other constituencies where, for example, like Beaufort North, Beaufort South, Liko, and so on, where there was not so much such drastic increases in the population.
Dolor referenced the need for expansion in areas like Groseley, noting that the constituency had approximately 66 ballot boxes during the recent December election.
You have roughly 400 to 450 persons per ballot box, per polling station, right? Now, so in a constituency, I think like Denry South or something, they're probably just 14.
Yeah.
So when you 14, my multiplication tells me that 14 times what will give you 60, right? If you put it at 15 to make the maths easier, 15 times 4 will give you 60.
Yeah.
So you're not even up to the 66 as yet.
Yeah.
So it means that you have one parliamentarian having to represent about 4 times the number of persons.
Yes.
Dolor stated that extensive research has been conducted on the boundary realignment.
The fact that the initial recommendations were based and included variance. Variance is the technical word for changes. So if you're supposed to get 25 and your variance is 5 plus or minus 5, then you can have as low as 20 and as much as 30. So you have a scale kind of, right? So even though the population may change from between 2014, right, when the report and now, the variance that was included would make allowance for that because the population has not grown that much.
In sports, local schoolboy football takes a spotlight. Former champions St. Elizabeth Technical High School and Dintil Technical have put themselves in a good position to qualify for the semi-finals after securing important wins in the Issa da Costa Cup football quarterfinals on Wednesday. Stephs scored a comprehensive 4-0 win over Christiana High at Manchester High, while Dintil Technical edged visitors Clarendon College 2-1. As both stayed tied on 4 points in Group B. Kemps Hill pulled off the surprise of the day when they defeated Cornwall College 3-1 in the Group A match at Glenmore High to draw a level on 3 points with former champions. Glenmore High led Group A on 6 points after beating McGrath High 4-0 on Tuesday. Glenmore has a healthy goal difference of 5. Tamar Roach hit a double and DeAndre Barnett and Ray J. Newman also got on the score sheet as Stephs routed Christiana High. And that's it for the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thank you so much for watching.